right, we are live. Welcome back to part B of part 2 of Dash Platforms.
Appendix A.
And this time the network works. So, Nick, welcome back. For those who did not see our first part, we are running through our Dash Platform tutorial, which gets you started with doing everything on Dash Platform. We went through the first part of the tutorial with Nick last time. We made it up to creating an identity, which has been a kind of sticking point as a difficult thing for the network to handle for whatever reason. This is something that I was kind of dealing with as I built this tutorial. So we tested it out right before we went live, and it seems to be working. So, Nick, you want to give any kind of thoughts or just things you felt after the first time and things you're looking forward to for this time?
Yeah, it's always fun digging into interesting technology. I know blockchain's got a bit of a rap at the moment, but regardless of that, I'm always just curious to try out stuff. And obviously, we didn't accomplish what we wanted to do last time. There was some network issues, like you mentioned, Anthony, and stuff. But we gave it a good go, and I think Ryan went back with some feedback, and I think some things got stabilized in the network. I'm guessing.
If I were only so powerful.
Yeah. Well, there's some good karma today.
I cracked some whips, and things are in line now.
Yeah. So So I guess do you want to let them know, Anthony, how where we are? I guess right now, because we did part of the tutorial in a speed run just before the live stream.
Yeah. So basically, we created a wallet. We put testnet funds into that wallet with the testnet faucet, and then we created an identity. So just real quick, let's just look at the code for the create identity one specifically and kind of go over what's happening there. Yeah, cool. So scroll to the top.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, great. So we're importing our client, which is what has our wallet mnemonic. That's how you authenticate yourself. And then we're just running. This is like really, really simple. It's literally just run a single function, which is .register on identities.platform.client. And then you have your identity. And then console logs out the identity ID. And something we haven't done yet, actually, which we should do, it also gave you that link to the platform explorer. So let's take your identity ID, put it in that URL, and we can go look at it on the platform. This is the new explorer, which is different from the one we were using when we got the testnet funds on. This is going to be more specific to the identities, the documents, and the things like that.
The 404s, it's because I don't have my ID in there yet.
Yeah, it's in your terminal.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Or your .env, either place.
Oh, I think I cleared my terminal. All right, identity. There we go. Well, right away I can tell they're using a Next.js site. Okay, so all right, let's load this up. Okay, so here I'll make this a bit bigger so we can see.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a little too big.
Yeah, so we see here. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, so we got your identifier. You can see your balance, and then the identity create. You can see that just happened, 7 minutes ago. So if you click on identity create, you can see more information about that specific transaction on the right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what these are, basically every time you do an action, it's all logged on the blockchain. So this is like the cool thing about blockchains is that they're very transparent. They're very inspectable, and you can kind of just go in and see what everyone is doing. And then obviously there's ways to have privacy with things like CoinJoin and stuff like that. But have you ever used a block explorer before, Nick?
I don't think so, unless we did it in the tutorial last time. But
yeah, that was just the one time when we checked your funds. Yeah, these are really important tools for blockchains in general. Like, if you're using like Ethereum, there's Etherscan, and Bitcoin has their own, and there are things that anyone can make because the blockchain is just this thing out there with all the data, and someone just has to basically make a front end that has some sort of search functionality to it. So
Okay.
yeah, so we'll be kind of we'll be referencing this as we go through all of the next steps, because we'll be creating data contracts. If you see at the top, there's home, blocks, transactions, data contracts, and identities. And if you go to the API, you can kind of see all the different things that are viewable here. So you can even check the status and things like that.
Okay. And this is we're on the Platform Explorer. Is this specific to only the Dash network, or because from what I remember, I think from blockchains, like you typically, like you wouldn't have like obviously like an Ethereum and like a Dash on the same network, I don't think, or is that possible?
Yeah, so you're totally right. Yeah, so each blockchain is kind of it's an island of itself in one sense. So it's this network, a bunch of computers talking to each other. They're syncing with each other. They're validating each other's blocks, but they're all just doing it in the confines of whatever blockchain, whatever cryptocurrency they're using. So there's other kind of like multi-chain things out there that can combine different chains, or there's some chains that are made so that you can have kind of different cryptocurrencies on the same chain. But this Dash is like it's like old school. It's like Bitcoin. It's just its own chain. And if you want to work with other things like Ethereum or Bitcoin, you can use kind of like services that will translate between the two, or DEXs, decentralized exchanges, stuff like that.
I will. I'll jump in and give a little bit more context there as well.
Okay, thanks.
Nick, if you could open a new tab on your web browser and go to blockchair.com. Blockchair. These guys obviously were capitalizing on muscle memory mistakes. When
That's
people,
funny. I've never heard of Blockchair.
Blockchair. So blockchain obviously is the closer word that you're familiar with, but sometimes when you're typing, instead of like your muscles just take over, instead of writing chain, you write chair. So these guys got some SEO boost early days from that alone. But in addition to that, they also have one of the best blockchain explorers out there, because they are
nice
multi-chain. Yeah, and so they've got Dash, and just as a refresher from some of the things we discussed last time, Dash has actually 2 blockchains in the Dash ecosystem. There is our first blockchain, which was the proof of work chain, and that's what you would see here on Blockchair, the proof of work typical Dash blockchain. But then coming up very soon, we also have this second blockchain that will soon be on mainnet, that is now on testnet. And that's our platform blockchain. And it's a proof of stake blockchain where the validators, which is a term for the node operators in proof of stake chains, it's similar to miners in proof of work chains, but the validators on Dash's proof of stake chain, which we call the platform chain, which is for data, which we'll get into a little bit more in this video today. That is, the validators are master nodes. And not all master nodes, but a specific subset of master nodes called Evo nodes. So I'm going through a lot of terms here. You don't have to remember them out. There will not be a quiz, but just for anybody that's interested, and you too especially, how it works. So you will not see the platform you will not see a platform block explorer on Blockchair, because it's just not even on mainnet for one. And it's, when it is on mainnet, it would be something that we would have to like partner with them to get their engineers to inspect our proof of stake blockchain and index it and surface it to their user interface and things like that. But they could, and that's what, to Anthony's point, all of it's public data that anybody can, tap into. So, but they do have our work chain, obviously.
Cool. And just a quick question: the validators you're speaking of, they're on master nodes because it's super critical work. So you need it on something that's guaranteed to be up. Like I imagine there's like a failure mechanism for the master node if one goes down, like some kind of round robin or some kind of networking thing going on there. But
yep. Yeah. So all the master nodes, all the validators, they host the same blockchain. And so if one goes down, it's no problem. You know, hundreds could even go down in our proof of work chain, and that'd be no problem because we have literally thousands running the chain.
Okay.
So that's part of the security and reliability that's built into blockchains. So let's go back now. I just wanted to show you that, you know, there are like total third-party block explorers that can just tap into any blockchain and surface lots of different blockchains. One user interface. So, but this particular block platform explorer website, this was built by Mikhail Shenmik. He's part of the Dash Incubator, and he's one of our other strategists. So he made this site, and he did that by running. He has a node that's running, and he's seeing blocks of data come through on the public network. So he's listening to the right traffic on the right ports and things like that. And then you can just index whatever data you're interested in, throw that in a local database, and then surface it to this user interface, which you correctly identified as being a Next.js app.
Yes, I used to work on the frameworks team at Netlify, but also that white error page, the 404 is pretty common. It's kind of like when somebody goes, "Oh yeah, that's a WordPress site."
Yep. So enough of the boring stuff out of the way. Let's maybe get back into some action with the tutorial and see if we can. We've now got past the step that we couldn't get past last time. We registered an identity. We've got an identity ID, and now we can start doing things with that identity.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
So you just take it, just follow along from here. I will just kind of observe, and if things go wrong, then I'll hop in.
Yep. And I'm gonna go grab some water.
Okay, cool. Early, we saw view transactions. Cool. Yeah. Okay, we already saw my ID in the list, so that's all good. Okay, yeah, this is just what we were kind of showing before. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new file here.
What do you think it'll do?
Yeah. Is the browser still pretty readable, or I'll make it a bit bigger actually there.
Yeah, that's probably fine.
Just it's my paranoia if I'm live streaming, always making sure people can actually see what I'm doing. Sure. Okay, cool. All right.
And it sounds like also my internet is going in and out. I'm at a hotel right now with some hotel Wi-Fi, so if I totally crap out, then you can continue on. I'll come back in whenever.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. All right, so I'm just following instructions here to create a script to retrieve the identities, and I imagine we'll have an npm run get identities. So let's make this. I'll just make this bigger so we can see. All right, so this is going to retrieve my identities, I believe. I'm assuming that means my wallet. Is that identity is wallet, obviously, right? Or
you should explain the difference between a wallet and an identity, Ryan. You'll probably be able to do it better than me.
Let's see what the docs have to say about it.
Okay, cool. All right. Cool. So so this is retrieving them just like when we were creating the identity. I think it just takes a bit of time. Also, I imagine running on a test net or a dev net would run slower than production as well. So because it's but yeah, okay, cool. So we'll just let that finish running.
Yeah, I don't know actually where the speed issue is coming from. It's something I would like to look into.
You go back to your client real quick and let's see where you're syncing to.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's like very recent. So
yeah, it's the okay. Yeah, and my internet's pretty fast. I have like gigabit up and down, so it's definitely not on my end. Can do a speed test, but I'm pretty sure we're good. Okay, so we'll just let that go.
We can go to the docs to look up the identity definition while this is happening.
Yep.
Dash.
So docs.dash.org. I'll give you the shortcut there.
Okay.
And then once again, we are, you see now that what we discussed, we've got user docs, core docs, and platform docs. We're going to go to platform docs. This is what we're dealing with now.
All right. So introduction. Oh, wait. Okay. It looks like we got our identity. So it returned an array of 2 identities. We can go look at that in a second. So I guess some background information. I'm inclined to look up identity, but let's see.
Sure. Yeah, and just for the
message that you have 2 instead of just 1. I'm not sure how that happened.
Yeah. Okay. So so identities are low-level constructs that provide foundation.
Zoom in a bit.
Okay. So yeah, it's public key. That makes sense.
Sorry, Nick, could you zoom in just a little bit?
Oh yeah. Sorry, man.
Yeah, no worries.
Let's make this bigger. Boom, boom, boom. That okay, or a bit more?
Yeah, that's good.
One more.
Cool. Okay, yeah, one more. Sure.
There you go. Perfect.
Cool. Yeah. So it's essentially, I get that it's a unique identifier for you. So that part I get. I guess you can have more than one wallet associated to your identity, I'm guessing. Just reading through. Okay. So the ID, okay, whatever. That's some hash calculation. Okay. It's regarding each public key associated with the identity. Multiple identities may use the same public key. I guess that's just for encrypting or not showing they're valid. I'm not sure. I'm definitely no cryptographer expert or cryptography expert. But I do know don't expose your private keys. All right. Okay. Okay. This is more super technical. So that's less what an identity is. It's really here. It's your unique identifier. But I guess if I look up wallet, it's going to say you can probably have more than one.
Yeah, this is probably going to take you down not a relevant path regarding identity.
ChatGPT gave a pretty good answer.
But let's go back to the. I think there's a concepts section in the documentation, and that might be a better conceptual overview, which is what you seem to be looking for. And just so that everybody knows, like I'm trying to test the documentation as much as the code in these live streams. So I want to be able to have people find their answers without.
Yeah, all the information is in the docs. It's just hard to find. Like the docs are pretty comprehensive, but they're not easy to navigate.
Yeah, well, I think one thing as a user of just like searching a site in general, typing something in here should definitely bring me somewhere relevant for what I'm looking for. Like when I put in wallet, like you said, there's information about wallet, but it's not like maybe have a intro to wallet, because this is like how you fund it and stuff. But like, I mean, I think most people understand the concept of a wallet, but just I'm getting back to my question about the identity in the wallet. So, okay, so you're saying
actually a glossary.
Scroll down the left-hand navigation and see. There's so we're in the tutorial right now, and then there's explanations, and under explanations there's identity.
Okay.
So maybe that might be a better approach.
Okay, yeah. So again, like it's identity, so we can identify each other. Identities are separate from names. That makes sense, because like I could have like a vanity name or a username like Nikki T online, but it says so my actual account, it's linked to my actual identity. Just because it's typically not, I don't think people memorize their identities or wallet IDs usually. Maybe they do. I don't know. Okay, cool. So it consists of one or more public keys recorded on the platform chain that can be used to control the user's profile and sign in their documents. each identity also has a balance of credits. Okay, so that's where I'm confused already, because the identity saying it can have credits makes me think it's a wallet now. But also maybe credits here is a different type of credits. What is this? Oh, that's weird. That didn't bring me to.
Yeah, I think it's one of those weird links that it's just gonna do a little.
It's a anchor tag. Yeah. It's in the page down below. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. That was
credits are the mechanism for paying fees that cover the cost of platform usage. Once the user locks Dash on the core blockchain, proves ownership. Create a top-up. Okay, so to me, at least from reading this, it makes it sound like the identity really is the wallet, which I find confusing because I know it's not.
Yeah.
Well, so here's part of the problem. Understanding the difference between the wallet and the identity is something that's like pretty specific to the difference between Dash itself and then the Dash platform, and like what the difference between those two are. So the wallet is what lets you just transact and have money, and that's like Dash itself. That's the main thing.
Oh,
And this
yeah.
platform
Okay,
thing is where we're going to have identities, which are going to allow us to create documents, which are going to allow us to persist storage, and allow us to create things like dApps and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think that explanation is anywhere in the docs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So wallet is like a physical wallet, whereas my identity is, think of it as like one of the credit cards in the wallet. But the wallet, since the wallet doesn't physically exist, it needs an address, and that's why wallets have an address in your identity. I don't know.
Yeah, they're very similar concepts. They're all based on public-private key pairs, and whether something is a wallet or, the term wallet itself can be confusing because everybody uses it somewhat differently. For example, I think of a wallet as the 12-word phrase because that's what derives your.
Okay.
That's what you can derive your public-private key pairs from. But some people think of wallet as like a public-private key pair itself. And other people might think of a wallet as like the user interface that takes in a 12-word phrase or a.
But it gets more confusing because you have the 12-word phrase and then you have the address, and you can create multiple addresses in your wallet.
Yeah. So maybe what I'm getting from this conversation is it might help to have right off the bat, and maybe it is there, and maybe we just missed it in like the intro section because that's where it would be. But something that shows like the hierarchy of these terms and these concepts, where 12-word phrase that you use to derive this and that, which is used to derive this and that, and then on the platform side you have the 12-word phrase in addition to deriving wallets, or addition to driving public-private key pairs that are associated with funds. They also can derive. You can also derive from that identities, which can then, derive other things that are related to wallets as well. So I'll make note of that, and we can move on. But go back to the
last thing to say on this also is that I don't think this is just like a Dash problem. This is, I think, a blockchain-wide problem, which is like it's really hard to just explain things in a simple way that lets you get it. Like it's really. And I've worked with a lot of blockchains, and it's really only through actually going through a tutorial, and by the time you get to the end and then like do it a second time, that like you actually have a framework where you can kind of put everything in. It's really hard to just give a high level explanation of this tech just because it's so specific and works in a very specific way.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I don't know if you finished with the identity paragraph.
Oh,
I think we should finish that paragraph, and then we'll move on to continuing with the tutorial, because that might make things a little bit more clear.
Okay.
So we stopped with each identity also has a balance of credits. That's established blocking layer of one funds.
That makes sense to me.
Let me explain that one just a little bit further conceptually. just because it is kind of an important concept. And, we've discussed that we have two blockchains. The proof of work blockchain, that's where you're getting funds. So the way that we got testnet proof of work layer 1 blockchain funds is from that testnet, or that faucet. That's how we originally got the layer 1 funds. Now we have not, when we want to convert layer 1 funds to the platform chain, which is a completely different blockchain, but happens to use the same, it doesn't even use the same funds per se. What it does is you can do a transaction on the layer 1 proof of work layer 1 blockchain that locks funds. It locks funds on the layer 1 blockchain and says these funds are no longer usable. Okay. But by doing that, you also unlocking a certain amount of funds on the proof of stake chain. And that's what this whole process, when it says credits, it means Dash that is living on the proof of stake chain.
Okay.
And has a certain denomination that we'll get into a little bit. But credits are Dash. They're a denomination of Dash. So you can think of like, you could have dollars in your wallet, and then if you give that to you give that to a bank, and then they give you 101 cent pieces back. Like that's the difference between Dash and credits. It's the same money, but it's in a different form on a different chain with a different denomination. So that'll hopefully make a little bit more sense as we get through the examples as well.
So the credits freezing on the proof of work and then having funds accessible on the proof of stake is kind of the way of exchanging them, I guess.
Yeah. So there's the same transaction that you can do in reverse, where if you want to take your platform credits, the Dash living on the proof of stake chain, and convert it back into the Dash that's living on the proof of work chain, then you can do a transaction to do just that and move those funds back. So I'll have to think about better ways to explain that, but that's basically what's going on.
Cool. All right, let's get back here, and I'll just get my editor back up. Okay, so we got the identities. I have 2, and Anthony said he wasn't sure why. I wonder if that's somehow from the last tutorial that didn't work, maybe? I don't know.
It could have been because we created a fresh wallet at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that too, but that's because I haven't played around with this that much. That's why we're doing this series.
Okay. So this one seems pretty self-explanatory to me. We're going to create a script called top up identity. So we're going to put some Dash in there, I guess. So let's go ahead and copy this. Okay, let's paste that in. So just going to look at this real quick. So another async function importing from the client API. So we're getting the wallet account and then getting the identities associated to it. Then we're looping or iterating over all the identities we have. And this is a test net, so I guess I'm allowed to give myself, is that 1 billion? No, sorry, that's 10 million Dash, I guess I get to top off. That's pretty sweet for a live stream, not too bad.
They're not Dashes, they're duffs. A duff is like a Satoshi, which you don't know what that is either, so that doesn't help.
I've heard of Satoshi. He's the he's the supposed creator of Bitcoin, but I guess there's a coin named after him too. Or
so Anthony,
subdivision.
Just real quick, are you sure that the 10 million is a duff value or is it a credits value?
I thought credits are duffs.
Let's see here.
I explained this specifically in my blog post. So go back over to the blog post and either scroll up or down. There's an specific explanation for this.
Okay, here. So, Okay. Okay. 100
Go ahead
million
Go ahead
duffs.
and read it out. I'll read it all out so that, we don't have to rush through this.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So it says when an identity is created, a special, here, I'll just make this a bit bigger. Might as well. Boom. So when an identity is created, a special transaction transforms Dash into credits, which are used to interact with the Dash platform. One Dash is equal to 100 million Duffs. Is that like Duffman from like The Simpsons? Just curious.
That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought.
Everyone thinks.
Dash's version of Satoshi, which is, I guess, a lower value coin. And 100 million Duffs is equal to 100 billion credits. Since interacting with Dash platform applications decreases your credit balance, at a certain point, you need to top off the balance by converting some Dash to credits. And that makes sense. Like if you're using it,
what I just described, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And if you're working with a DApp, a distributed application, right? That's what DApp stands for.
Yeah, decentralized application.
Yeah, decentralized. Thank you. Yeah, so it makes sense. We have to throw some credit to use it. Okay, so we're gonna run the top off here. Let's go back down here.
Before we do that, let's open. Did we get a blockchain layer 1 blockchain explorer working for us?
Which one was that?
Which shows the balance of the address that we've funded.
Okay. Oh yeah. We were there before. It's here, I believe.
Yep. So let's see how much we have in this address so far, or at this point.
So it says 4.1712 dash. This is when we created it.
Surprising because it has a final balance of 0.
It's just refresh it. This is old, I think.
Okay.
It should have been confirmed by now.
There we go. 7.62. Okay.
Still has a 0 balance for some reason. So that's going to be a problem.
I think that might be an error with the UI. This happened to me when I was using this the other day.
Oh, you're kidding.
You mean it's not you mean it's okay, no, it's got 0 in the markup. You mean it's just calculating something wrong client side, or the APIs?
If it was 0, we wouldn't have been able to create the identity. So it can't be 0. We know for a fact it's not 0. That's why I say it. All this stuff is broken, man. Your whole deal is broken.
well, this is the summary up top, but can we see the individual transactions? Like there's 10 confirmations.
That's what scroll down to the bottom. The bottom will be the earliest transactions. Let's just kind of follow this.
Okay, so the 4 is the initial when I created the account. This, okay. I don't know.
So what's this here? 6240 confirmations is way long ago. So the address that we're looking at, let's make sure that this is the address that you own, and it's not like some.
Oh yeah.
Other
June 3rd. I feel. Yeah. I wonder if
YZ peasy.
Okay, there.
YZ peasy already at the end. Okay,
not
so
the
that is your address.
That's the identity, Nick.
Sorry.
That's the identity, not.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
So your wallet address is that, but how on earth could we have a wallet address that we just created have some activity 6,000 confirmations ago?
Nick, you dropped the wallet in the chat just so I can try. I want to try searching this on the regular old Explorer, not this other one.
Yeah. Okay, and well, the confirmations are what exactly? That's like the chain just saying this transaction is valid, and then there's a bunch of nodes that confirm?
Confirmations is how many blocks have occurred since a certain date. So
okay.
A certain action. So this is saying this is a list of transactions that we're looking at, and the very earliest activity on this is 6,240 confirmations or blocks ago, and as you can see, that's June 3rd. We haven't done anything. We should not have had any activity on this until today. So why we're seeing something from June 3rd, I don't know. So scroll. Any ideas, Anthony? Scroll up to, let's see what the first thing was that happened today. instead of June 3rd. So just scroll up a bit on this. Are you? Oh, you're muted, Nick. Go ahead and scroll up on that page.
Nick, you're muted. I can unmute him, I think. Oh, cannot unmute your guest. Their mic isn't connected.
Oh, he's having some technical issues. So, so any ideas on this, Anthony? I mean, I'm just like,
I think it's a bug in the code somewhere.
No
I mean, this
idea.
isn't the actual Explorer. This is this weird extra Explorer on this different link, which probably means there might just be like a bug in the code somewhere. The way it's reading in the blockchain, it's getting messed up somehow. I mean, like I remember there was like you used to show me there was like a status page, and the status page said it was like November or something. So it could be a similar thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Nick, we still can't hear you.
He's talking for some reason. I wonder if he can hear us. That's the question. Okay,
We lost him.
I think he probably bailed on purpose to reconnect. Let's see what the private chat says. Okay, that's just you.
Yeah, I think we should just keep going through the tutorial and not worry about this.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I was looking at this so that we could see the actual when you did that transaction to see how much was taken out. But anyway, on the top of transaction. But yeah, when he comes back, we'll just keep going through the tutorial. We'll forget the conceptual stuff.
Because the part of the issue is that like there's this weird separation between, you know, the Dash and the Dash platform. So if we just like stay in Dash platform world, create an identity, create documents, like that's the point of this tutorial. So I think we're going out of scope, I think, by trying to worry about all this other stuff.
So Nick says he'll be back in a second. Not sure what happened. While he's talking about that, or while he's gone, just so you know, if you haven't seen yet, Anthony, there is a proposal up, and if you could share your screen for a minute, this might be interesting for viewers, and you, if nobody else. Bring up your website, share your screen, and then go to dashcentral.org. This is somewhat relevant to this conversation. That's why I'm bringing it up. Now go to budget. So these are all the active proposals. Not all of them are budget proposals. Most of them are proposals requesting funding, which is how the Dash Incubator is funded. But this one at the very top here, Evo Accelerated Release Schedule, click in there. This is a proposal by Quantum Explorer, Sam Westrich from Dash Core Group, basically asking the network, telling the network, we're basically at a point where we could actually launch platform on mainnet instead of testnet. But there would be, you know, if we do it now, then there would be some features that would be missing that we wanted to put in the version 1 that goes to mainnet, but there would also be a little bit higher degree of risk that there might be a platform halt, like a chain halt, but nothing that should jeopardize the stability of layer 1 blockchain or steal funds from platform. And part of it is that you won't be able to withdraw your funds from platform, but at least we could get it on mainnet. So that the reason that that's relevant to today's discussion is all of these issues that we're seeing with like block explorers not working and not reliable, and those would all kind of go away once we get to mainnet, because
exactly, that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's kind of out of scope for us to like really worry about too much right now.
Yeah,
because it's hopefully going to just be work itself out. So this is cool. So what is when it says accelerated release schedule? What does that mean? How accelerated? What would the actual schedule be?
Yeah, so just it's in here somewhere in the text. We'll find it. It's not a long proposal, so we should be able to find it pretty quickly. I think it says, let's see. Middle July. So the paragraph right above the underlined bolded text.
Gotcha. That would be tight.
Yep. So basically, like a month from now, it would be. I would say that that's going to be end of July. Yeah, but that would be nice because then we wouldn't have to deal with these testnet issues that are unrelated to what we're doing.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Nick. Welcome back. Perfect timing, by the way.
That was really weird. My internet didn't go down, but like my USB like headphones and mic they just died. Well, not died, but it just.
Do you go to your settings real quick and make sure you're going through the right mic right now? You sound kind of echoey.
I think that's probably the issue. He's on a different mic now because that one wasn't working, I would guess.
This should be okay now.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, all right, let's get back into business.
All right, back into the decentralized matrix. All right.
So let's did you run the top up top up identities yet?
Yeah, I ran that. So all right, cool. Just gonna take Discord off the screen because we don't need that there. Okay, yeah, I ran the top up, and then we were just looking at the. I'm gonna have to.
So let's just go back to the tutorial and go forward with the function, whatever function is after top up identity.
Yeah. Okay, so actually, I did top up. I don't know.
Run the retrieve identities one again, and then we can see what you're at.
Okay.
And then while that's going, you can kind of scroll to the next section after top up identities in the blog. Okay. This is a good place to get to, because this is where I think the identities makes more sense once you understand how it connects to the name.
Okay. Okay, so this output that's from the top up identities that already happened. Okay, so we'll create this file. Let me just open up another tab. Okay, and let's exit that. Okay, cool. And then I'm just gonna pop this here. Register name. Cool. Why did it?
Sorry, so that's a little bit.
Oh yeah, .env.
This is for your data. So this is whatever name you're gonna want to give yourself. So
all right. Let's go. Jake Peralta or Pontiac Bandit. Anybody watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Catch the reference. No, don't.
Oh, nice.
Sorry. Yeah, it's a TV show I really liked. Okay.
Cool.
So let's just check on the script here. Okay, that's still
Real
running.
Quick, I'm not sure if you can have underscores in your name. I know you can do dashes.
Okay, if that's the case, I would suggest that the tutorial not have them in it.
Well, we could see what happens when it doesn't work.
Yeah, let's find out if it works then. Yeah.
All right, fire it up. Hashtag YOLO. Let's do this.
Yep.
Okay, this is still running in terms of retrieving identities.
So the retrieving identities is forever slow. Gotta make a note of that.
Cool. Okay, so we're gonna register a name here. I'll just gonna read through the code here. So we've got my identity ID, which is coming from my environment variables. We get the unique identity on the Dash network, and then I decide on a name, and this creates it registers my name.dash. That's not for a file name, is it? Or is that just a syntax for a name registration? And then here, okay, we're just gonna say view on the block explorer. Okay, and then I can see my name, and that will be my ID, which comes from
.dash is because, do you remember a couple years ago when everyone had like ajcwebdev.eth in their Twitter handle?
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, okay. I was getting confused. I thought this was a template string issue, but this is actually the property on the object, $ID.
I do believe so, yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. Let's just go check on the. Okay, this is still running the retrieve identities. It ran faster last time. I'm not sure why it's slower now, but okay. We'll just okay. So, anyways, this is gonna. Am I able to register my name even though the retrieving identities is happening?
Could
Like
be,
we'll
Yeah, it
just
should be fine.
let that do its thing. Okay, cool. All right, cool. And let's come here and let's go register name. All right, boom. Okay, we'll let that go and oh, okay, there we go. Just let that go. So okay, so it should output my label. Is that what it's gonna do? Okay. Okay, and then
let's go ahead and
okay.
open that Platform Explorer again,
Okay.
and just go to the main page. Let's see if
Okay, here.
there's activity on. Yeah.
Okay, so just go to the home page.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So what?
scroll down. Let's see. Go to the transactions, and just let's see if.
Okay, I thought those were links there. Trending data. Okay, here.
Yeah. Okay. Identity create. I wonder if that was us that did that. 613. So there's documents batch. I wonder if that's all of our transactions.
I'm just gonna go see in the terminal.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it looks like the retrieve identities finished.
Yeah, so I need to fix this in the post. It's just because my environment variable brain just writes everything with underscores, but it only accepts characters, numbers, and dashes. And dashes cannot be at the beginning or end of the name. There's a regex constraint that runs on. That's what it's showing right here.
Okay, so that was a good error. That was an error where we expected an error or a half expected.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push that
So
right now.
So a regex can bring you to your knees. All right, noted. Okay. All right. So yeah. So we got do I need to do anything with the retrieved identities? Do I need to just copy that array, or was it just more informational?
No, this is just I wanted to see the balances and see how they changed, but we don't really know what they were beforehand because you keep clearing your terminal.
Cool. All right. Little trash talk, but I'll take it. Okay. So we looked at the Explorer. Okay. So should I go to my, like, this says document here. So like, what is this document specifically? Because like I know, is that mean it's a specific block on the chain?
We should rerun the register name function get actually working, and then that will output the link for you. Then we can explain it. So just go fix your label.
Yeah,
and your
it's running. It's running right now. Here.
Oh, it's already running. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I'll just get out of this one here. Okay, cool. Yeah. So okay, we'll let that finish. Just gonna go back to the tutorial for a sec, but so okay.
So that's what we're going to see.
Well, because that's running, and there's nothing we can do to make that any faster.
Okay. There it is. There it is. Yeah. So just click that link.
All right.
There you go.
Here we go.
Cool.
Sweet. Okay, so you are on the network. Good.
Jake Peralta. All right. Cool. We did it. All right. So yeah, I guess so. Identifier. This is like my kind of network name, and this is just like a label to make it easier, kind of like a URL redirect, like you were saying, like jakeperalta.dash would go to my block explorer or address, or
well, this is okay. So we should probably keep going with the tutorial before I talk too much longer about everything. Let's see how far we can get, and then we'll circle back and answer questions.
Yeah, sounds good. Cool. All right, so we got some data back. Okay, we did the retrieve Let's do retrieve name. So let's copy that. I will not clear the terminal for Anthony. Cool. Cool. All right. Let's
also, hopefully the tutorial, I think the tutorial does answer the question that you may have been asking there.
Okay.
Anthony's tutorial usually tells you what you're doing and or what you just did.
Kind of. It depends.
All right, cool. Let's see here. Let's come back here. Okay, we've got that. Let's do npm run retrieve name. Just gonna hide that. Okay, cool. All right, let's let that run. And so looking at this, it's gonna take our label, which is Jake Peralta. It's gonna say go and resolve that, I guess, network address, which is jakeperalta.dash, like you were saying, kind of like the .eth. And then it found me, and this is my no, that's not my identity. That's I'm not sure what that is. I don't
think
see
that is
my
your identity
Y.
ID.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm confusing it with in the .env with I'm confusing it with the wallet address. That's why.
Yeah, so that's why I say as
okay.
we go on, hopefully it should become
Yeah.
more clear what the difference between the identity ID and wallet address is.
Okay, cool.
Owner,
So,
yeah, I see there is a little bit of an issue there because one's called identity ID and one's called owner ID. It's the same string.
Yeah, I'd say in terms of like when you're talking about the docs and stuff, Ryan, just keeping the uniform naming would definitely help. But okay, but that makes sense. Owner identity. Okay, and let's continue. So we got all that information, and we can go view it on the block explorer. Well, we saw that before actually, so we don't need to do that. Okay, so data contract on the platform serves as a blueprint for the structure of data that an application tends to store. Okay, on the network. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Contract validates stuff. It's the same thing as a smart contract, right? Saying contract is equivalent to saying smart contract, or is smart contract a specific chain term?
It's kind of a more of specific. Most contracts are smart contracts in blockchain world and Web3 world, but Dash is doing different things. We have data contracts, but you can, so instead of like a smart contract has both methods and properties on an object. You can think of it as that, where you have execution and you can perform functions with a smart contract. With a data contract, it's just data. So if you're thinking of it in terms of an object, you just have data fields, no methods. There's no concept of execution in data contracts.
You can't have a bug where you accidentally can siphon off all your funds to someone else. It's a lot safer.
Okay.
It's So the difference is instead of a cloud Lambda function, that would be like the Web3 version of the Web3 version of a cloud function would be a smart contract. The Web3 version of a decentralized database would be Dash platform. So we are just doing a decentralized database. We're not doing decentralized cloud functions.
Cool. All right. I'm registering the contract. I got the contract ID back, which is good. And then it'll show us the contract registered, and I imagine this is the definition of the contract. So the contract documents, I'm assuming this is a standard structure for a contract, or is this the part of a contract where like, well, I guess the properties are the thing that can be whatever you want.
See if this makes sense to you just reading the code.
Yeah, so there's this doc has a note of type object, and the object has the properties message, and it has it's strongly typed, it's a string, and it's the first position in, I guess, in the block in the chain, which is the contract, I'm guessing. Kind of like a memory position. Kind of like
I'm not entirely sure what the position means, actually.
I feel like it would be kind of like old school.
Position
like
is position is something that was literally just added like a few days ago to these documents. So I actually asked somebody about this before we got on the stream because
this code was written over 2 months ago, though, so that it was in the docs somewhere.
Yeah, we'll skip the position part because neither of us really know.
But basically, it's just an object that has a message. The message is typed string. This is a hello world example.
Yeah, and even further up the chain there, note is something that you define. So you defined that this is going to be a contract that holds notes, and note is of type object and has these properties where you have a message that's of type string and so forth. So this is JSON schema validation, basically.
Okay, so here is whatever you want it to be. And you're saying there's no methods on here. It's just properties because you can't, I guess, because it's immutable. But if you create the contract, so here we're saying it's a note and it's an object and it has, so note.message is a string. How do you, if this doesn't have methods, how do you, maybe this is further down in the tutorial, but how do I set the message then?
So the platform itself, the thing that's the chain side of this whole process, basically has CRUD operations. You can create these things, you can edit these things, you can update them, you can delete them, depending on how you set up your properties initially. So initially, you can actually make it like this can't be deleted or this can't be updated, but you can optionally make it that it can be updated and deleted. So you can the blockchain itself is performing the CRUD operations. The user can't define methods at this point.
Okay, so if I were to put new data on, like, let's just say I have a note-taking DApp and I want to create a new note. I'm going to say, go get me this contract, and it has this shape of an object, and I can basically say use that as the template to actually do the CRUD operation. Like the contract will validate to say, like, I want to go add a note, and it's going to go check the contract and go like, oh, that's an invalid note. You didn't put a message. Like that's basically what it's doing.
Yep.
Like
that's the chain side or the server side validation will allow or not allow that.
Cool. All right. The register contract worked, but I don't know why the script isn't finishing. I'm just gonna stop it for now, but just mentioning that in case that's an issue. Okay, so we're gonna go and create a retrieve contract script.
Did you put the contract ID in your .env?
Nope, not yet. Okay. All right. So we created the retrieve contract. Cool. Let's copy this. And again, it's going to just get the contract that we just created. So the note object in that particular contract. Let's go ahead and run this.
Anthony, just a quick note for you and the tutorial itself. Maybe we should edit note to like my note or something so that it's obvious that it's like a user defined field kind of thing. But
I think I'll just include an explanation that will make that clear.
Cool. Okay, that ran. Okay, we got an error. Or what did this say? Okay, so yeah, we're getting a TLS error.
So
okay,
I think,
so we can't read.
I think there was a point where we were supposed to edit our client. Did we skip past that? Did we not get to that yet?
I don't think it. Well, it wasn't in the steps because I've been literally been going through here. So like we hit data contracts. Yeah, no, there was nothing about altering the client before retrieving the contract. the register contract work. It's just this is just at the retrieve contract point now. I can scroll down a bit to see if it mentions something about the
No,
client.
that's the different. We're
Okay.
gonna update the client with our document ID. I think is
Okay, so I'm just gonna paste this error in the private chat if you.
Well,
if it's helpful for you.
what it's just saying is that there is no output.
Yeah.
We're running retrieve contract right now.
Yeah, it's saying not permitted. I don't know why I'm not permitted, but and then this is just a JavaScript error because obviously it can't read the JSON because there's nothing to read. So that's just a side effect error.
Yeah, I've had issues with this specific function in the past. So
retrieve contract.
Let's
do what really all great programmers do and just try it again.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm burning a candle beside me, pouring one out. Cool. All right, so same thing, same error. So
let's just get past this one because this doesn't really do anything. This is just to read back the contract that you created, so it's not really important. And I've had issues with this in the past, so let's just go to update contract.
Okay, and before we do this, okay, so we're gonna get the contract schema, which is note. That's the free form JSON that we had in there in the contract to decide how we wanted the shape to be. And once we get that note, it looks like we're gonna add an author property to enhance the contract, and then the existing data contract, we're going to set the document schema to note again. And okay, yeah, that's the document schema there. And then it's just going to update it. So yeah, okay. So literally just adding author field. So let's just copy that. And this is blockchain stuff, but I'm just reading JavaScript. This is like just CRUD stuff happening. It's
yep.
Even if you weren't doing blockchain, that's pretty straightforward, I think.
Yeah, that's the whole point, is that we want to make contract and blockchain decentralized app development as easy as developing a traditional app.
Okay, so we got the same TLS error now.
Okay, interesting.
So what I'm thinking right now is when you created the contract, we got the ID back, but then it was kind of hanging and you cut it off at the end. So I don't know if that may have messed anything up. But,
okay. Because it was going for like a bunch of minutes.
Did we find the contract on the Platform Explorer?
Didn't look. So let's. So the Explorer, is it the same Explorer? This one?
Yeah. So just go to scroll up to or open up the hamburger and go to data contracts. And then just append it to the end. Or actually, it should be right there at the top.
Not found. Okay, so it didn't create it.
Sorry, no. Just put it in the URL.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought it was going to search for it. Okay, so it gives a 404. Okay, so that makes sense.
Check your URL.
I'll double check. Here's data contracts / yeah.
If you copy paste what you're doing, right? I can't read any of your things. Your URL is so freaking tiny.
Yeah, that I can't zoom in here. I'll do it here.
That's why. Could you just copy paste what is in your URL right now?
Yeah, here. Oh. I'll paste it in the chat. You can see it. It's definitely 404ing.
Okay, so that means the contract wasn't actually created.
Okay, so we can run that again. So the problem was because it was hanging for like a good 5 minutes. So even though it spit that out, it didn't necessarily.
Maybe it hadn't finished. Maybe we need to try to create a contract again.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. All right. and I'll just comment this out. npm run create contract. Oh, whoops.
Yeah, I see exactly what the issue is, because if you look at the code, it creates the contract, it console logs contract ID, and then it awaits contracts.publish, then it console logs contract registered. So we didn't wait for that part. We cut it off too soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
The contract ID, in other words, is not something that the chain gives you back. It's something that can be client side derived, and so it can give you the contract back without actually having registered it.
Okay. So that, to be clear, that was my bad, but it was hanging for like a good 5 minutes. So there's something on the network. Yeah. So it did it again, and it looks like
you gotta just wait it out.
Yeah. And it gives it.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just gonna say, is it normal it gives the same contract ID?
That's a good question. I don't know if it's. I don't know if these contract IDs are deterministically.
If it's just hashing the whatever
like content
the
hash or
ID
something,
is, that it shouldn't change if it's just doing that. I'm not sure if it is. I'm not sure where that comes from, but that's what I would guess. It'd be like IPFS. You always get the same hash back if your content doesn't change.
Yeah, it would probably give you a different one if you were registering the exact same document data, like schema, but from a different identity. I would guess it would be a different contract. If it wasn't, that would be a problem, because then two people that wanted to create the exact same contract from different IDs would have the same contract, and that would be a problem.
Yeah. So we'll let this run. I don't know how long it's going to take.
We're getting close to the end of our time.
Yeah. So basically, we'll wait for the contract to get created. There's the retrieve contract just to show that it's there, and then we're going to update it with the new author field. That all seems pretty straightforward. I think it's just waiting on the network.
So it says here, if you're updating an existing contract, the identifier will stay the same, but version of the contract is incremented.
Okay. That makes sense.
That doesn't really answer the question that we had. So, Mikhail, if you're still listening, I was wondering if two completely separate people with completely separate platform IDs try to create the exact same data contract, meaning it has a note and each note has a message, blah, 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 and all that schema data is the exact same, would it have the same contract ID? That's what I would guess would be different, but we'll see if Mikhail has anything to say about that. By the way, that comment that just came up, that's the guy that made the Platform Explorer. So if we have any questions about that, then he's out there.
Yeah, no. Well, I think there's just the things that you were mentioning, Anthony, like the calculation for the total in the summary initially. There it was 0, even though there was something going on with the totals from like when it got topped up the identity there. That's the only thing I can think of. But cool.
Yeah. So Mikhail, if you're listening still, which you are. Is it supposed to, like, does it usually take this long for you when you're creating? What are we doing here? We're
creating a contract, the sample with the note.
We're coming on 5 minutes now, right?
Things like the retrieve identity were also going really slow. So I think it might just be the network itself is just moving the speed today.
Yeah. But like we made a lot more progress than last time, obviously. Like this point, like I'm going to assume like once this finishes, I'll be able to retrieve the contract and then I'll be able to update it. And like we can, like, I know we don't have a lot of time left, but we can just show that again. So if we go to register contract, like you were saying, Ryan, so this is where you define what your contract is going to have in terms of data. And so in our case, in the tutorial, we're just saying we just want a note and it's an object. And then it's got these properties and this is the type. We weren't sure what position was. And additional properties false. What does that mean exactly? Because we updated the contract well, we didn't do it yet, but we're adding author to it. So I'm curious what the additional properties to false means. Like, because I would have thought reading that means that you can't change this contract. That's what it kind of reads like to me.
Yeah, that's definitely not what it means.
Go back to your client real quick, or sounds like this is an issue with.
Finished.
It came out, but real quick, I want to make sure we're on the same page here with Mikhail. Go to your client and show the synchronization part. So is this skip synchronization before height? Yeah, so we've got that set. He's giving us a slightly different number, but it's still pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah, so that shouldn't be the reason that it's slow, because we have done that. Coming back to this comment here, the execution of the SDK hangs because it syncs the transaction of the seed phrase from the first to the latest. That, I would guess, you can skip any amount of blocks to make it faster. I don't know exactly how to do that in this context, but
all right.
So you said that it did finish.
Yeah,
so
and I'm just retrieving the contract.
We should look at it on the Platform Explorer.
Yeah.
And then we might want to just call it here.
Is this it? Oh, here it is. Okay. Still gives a 404 here.
You should be able to just click the link in your terminal that it spit out.
Okay.
Yeah, just go straight to that. There you go.
Okay.
There.
I don't know if it matters, but it's data contract here, but I think before it was data contracts in the Explorer. But anyways, okay, so identifier, so like if we look, that's the contract there. The owner, this is my identity. System, I'm assuming that false means that it's from userland. It's not the network that created this contract, because I'm assuming there's probably network specific ones.
Yep.
Creation date makes sense.
I'm not sure about that, but I think that is true. So, like, for example, the name that we registered, where you registered that funny name, that itself is a contract. So that's one of those or that's one of those core blessed contracts, I believe. It's called Dash Pay, and registering a name to Dash Pay is probably would be a system contract. So
and we got documents count is 0 because we've created the contract, but nobody's actually created data with the contract yet.
That's probably the next step in the tutorial. Just to create a document against that schema, against that contract.
And in terms of revision, this is what, like Mihail was saying, I ran it again, so it looks like it tried to create it a second time, so that's why there's one revision maybe. Okay, cool. Okay, so let me just run the update contract real quick. I imagine it'll go pretty quickly because the retrieve went quickly, or maybe not, but yeah, I know we're wrapping up here, so I don't know if you wanted to take us out, Ryan or Anthony.
How far do we have left in the tutorial?
I mean, if we don't dally too much in the next one, we should be able to get through it in one more episode. We need to still write to the contract and then create the whole back end and front end with Express and React.
Oh, okay. So there's plenty of stuff to do. Then let's cut it off here. We'll make a part C from this series if Nick's willing to come back again.
No, I'm good to hang. It's like I said, it's just interesting exploring other technologies. So try to keep an open mind. I know, like I said, I know there's a lot of people are not fans of blockchain right now, but not that I'm like an avid like lover of it, but I think it's still worth it to explore these things. Like, I think it's,
And you've actually owned crypto before, which helps.
Yeah, no, I do own crypto right now. So yeah. Cool. All right. So it did update the contract. So that's at 3:59. So we can just show that happened. So
and then
if you
could hang on to this project, so that when we do our next one, we can go right where we were with the same .env and everything.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, let's do that. Let's do Git.
Did you create a
GA.
git
All right.
ignore?
Yeah, I did, I believe. Hold on a sec. All right, cool. Well, I guess we can take it out here. I think I've got your git ignore you put there. Okay, cool.
Great.
Git init, GA, KG. All right, cool. Yeah, I think we're good.
Great.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, thanks, Nick. And we will pick this up in a part C and hopefully get through. It's going to be a race from here on out because we've got some other people that are other developers that are going to come on, and we'll see who has to go till G to finish the tutorial and who gets through it with just A.
Yeah, on
Yeah,
Friday.
who gets the A?
Yeah, on Friday, my buddy Noah is coming in to do this, who's actually the person who got me working at a blockchain company in the first place. So he knows a lot about blockchain. So it'll be fun to have him on because he'll just blast through this, hopefully.
Yeah, and in
Who's
case that
Noah?
wasn't clear, definitely not Nick's
Noah
fault
Hine.
that he's on B and then soon to be C on this series. Definitely not your fault, Nick.
I'm just a C, folks. Couldn't be an A. Sorry.
Yeah, these are the letter grades that you get after the end.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Anthony, you alluded to it, but we'll be on tomorrow to have another developer try this out for tomorrow. Right? What time is that going to be, Anthony?
Oh, I'm in time zone land right now. So let's see.
I've got it's going to be
10
my
o'clock.
time, 10 o'clock your time. So that's noon Eastern time, I believe.
Okay.
Something like that. Anyway, yep.
1 Eastern time.
Tomorrow.
Cool. Later, everybody.
All right, bye.